artist advocate, and I work with a few brands. My passion is, and I do A&R, and that's actually the direction that I do want to go because I feel like I do so much, and I think A&R is what I want to focus on at this point. I work in management as well, so I just do a lot of random shit.
Thank you, Shirley, for being a part of this. Dizzy D, you up?
How you doing, guys? I'm Dizzy. I'm from Miami. I started off, promoting clubs and doing events and concerts and stuff. From that, I met a young man, and he's just like, I love your drive and everything else you do. You should come intern, for us at Slip and Slide. I did Slip and Slide, and then after that with Coldplay and the whole Miami thing, and I put a lot of records together. I found Bobby Smurder and Zoe Dollars, and I do with DJ Snake. It's so much and so much.
Wait, did he come out? Is he free, Bobby Shmurda?
Boom.
Bobby Shmurda? Sorry, random.
Boom.
That's all right.
I thought he was supposed to come out.
The next panelist needs absolutely no introduction. He's one of the true legends in the business, Uncle Ralph. Video Music Box, you're up.
What's up, everybody? Glad to be here. Thank you for asking me to be part of this. This is awesome. I feel like, I'm the old guy here, but it's all good, because I learn every day from, young conversation. I think that, like some of my counterparts who kind of look down on, young conversation, I stay with the young conversation. And I think that's why I've, been in this business for whatever 35 years that I've been doing it. I'm a director. First of all, I'm independent. So, I have a TV show. I've created crazy amounts of content over the years, probably content that you see that you don't even know is mine from back in the days. Like pretty much every hip hop documentary that's out there has something of mine in it. And in the past year, or past 2 years, I produced one of the producers on the Roxanne film that's on Netflix. We're currently working on a Wendy Williams documentary, Mary J. Blige documentary. In the past 2 weeks, we did an event with the Universal Hip Hop Museum, which is coming in 3 years in a physical building in the Bronx, and we did a thing called Hip Hop Loves New York, and we partnered with Mass Appeal and a couple other organizations, and so we had Nas. And we had LL Cool J and a bunch of New Yorkers get together, and we raised, about $100,000 for a particular organization in the Bronx, and it was pretty cool. So, I come strictly from an analog world. That's where I started, and and I quickly, especially in this pandemic, have had to get my game up as far as all of this is concerned. So, I'm here to learn, and whatever knowledge I have, I can pass it on. So, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Mont Brown.
Appreciate you for having me.
Thank you.
Mont Brown, I'm from Philly. I started out as an artist, but just coming up, I was always inspired by like Puff and Master P and those kind of guys on an entrepreneur type of time. So I started out as an artist. I started out doing that. What that led to management. Clothing line, community work. I went through every emotion of the game just to get to the A&R position. So for the last 2 years, anything that came out of Philadelphia, I had got it signed. So I was working close with, my last deal was with Columbia Records, and shout out to them. They took a liking to me. Chelsea, Ron Perry, and Brian, Felicia, Sean Holiday, and they offered me the A&R position, and it was my dream job. So they told me if I was willing to pack my bags and move to LA, I got the job. So that's what I did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, for sure.
Avery, you up next.
Hey guys, so I'm Avery, Miss Artistry, pretty much born and raised in the Bronx, all about, hip hop, and I come from the creative arts, performing arts background. I'm a dancer, and I played the piano, violin growing up, so music was always a part of my life. So I really loved this. I enjoy being a publicist now, but I started out performing, dancing, writing, songwriting, working at BET in the talent department, interning all over RCA Records, you name it, and eventually I had the opportunity to intern for Diddy in the executive office, had the opportunity to work within the whole organization, eventually landed my job as an executive in operations for Combs Enterprises. So that's pretty much how I kind of got my peak in the business, and where I was really respected for all the hard intern work and all of that in the field work that we do. So yeah, right now I'm a public relations PR specialist and have my own company, Multi Artistry Entertainment. And I'm happy to have great new clients, such as Young Dirty Bastard, which is Old Dirty Bastard's son, and as well as Taniqua Jones, Old Dirty Bastard's other daughter. And of course, I do PR for Ron Suno. Outside of Ron Suno, I also have many clients like Rough Riders. I did PR for Rough Riders for the reunion tour, etc. I don't want to go down the whole list, but as you can see now, I blossomed. I'm blessed, and I'm happy to be a part of this. Thank you, Camille. Thank you so much.
Thanks, sweetie. Gabrielle Amani, you're up next.
Hi guys. Okay, so my name is Gabrielle. I got started on Wall Street, weirdly. I run a magazine called Met Theater Magazine, and it stands for Music, Entertainment, and Fashion. We've been up and running for about 5 years. It started with my mom. She's my partner, and we basically run it together, us two. She is the analog, the COO part, and I'm more the CEO. Because we're in the beauty space, we do deals with NARS and who else is in beauty? Also because we're in the entertainment space, we do deals with Tyler Perry. We did one of his press runs for the movie with Tika Sumpter and Tiffany Haddish. And yeah, I'm excited to learn from all you guys.
Thank you. So I always want to start off with the gatekeepers, and that's the A&R department, because without you guys, there's no music, there's no us. So my first question, and Ralph, you have touched so many lanes, so please jump in. I do have questions just for you, but I want you to jump in, please, and anyone else that sees fit. So Dizzy, Mon, and Ralph, as we see fit. Let's talk about the lost art of artist development. Do you feel that this is an asset? Back in the day, it was really something that was ingrained in A&R and marketing and getting this artist together. Do you think that this is a lost art, or are the labels looking back and figuring like this is an asset that we need to bring back into the role of finding an artist?
Yeah.
Either mine or Dizzy.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, it's definitely, these artists, they come right now, like, they blow up on internet. They, like, I feel like they don't do the media trainings and all the, the grind. You know what I'm saying? Like, that grind is like different now, and how it used to be back in the day, just like, media training and this and press, this and all that. It just was a lot back in the day. Now it's just like, I wish we could get all that back,
Yeah.
To add on to that, I feel like the industry definitely needed every label should bring that back, right? Because what happens is that's putting too much pressure on the manager. Then the manager got to become the media trainer guy. I got to teach the artist how to perform. It's too much that's being placed on the manager. It's always going to be the manager's fault, no matter what. So I definitely think between the record label and management, they got to figure that out, because this artist coming out first. First of all, these artists is coming straight from poverty with no manners. First of all, a lot of them don't got manners because the father's not in the household. So when they get this money, they don't even know how to manage the money. They run right through it. So definitely, even if the label start teaching financial literacy, something. But we definitely need it back for sure.
Anyone else want to add in?
I mean, I think for me, because I work in different areas in TV and film, and sometimes these artists, it used to take like a year or so for somebody to develop. Like I can say like Mary J. Blige, and Camille, you'll know Mary J. Blige comes out, she's rough on the edges. Comes out, we're trying to figure out what to do with Mary J. Blige, but the talent is there. So it takes a year before you get to that point Now that year doesn't exist for an artist. It's happening right now. You know, this is a digital world. This is a digital age. You're touching what took us a week to do, somebody did in 15 minutes or 10 minutes. You know, so now these artists have to get their thing together quickly. And this is not just, just music artists. This is what happens in sports. This is what happens in all these different areas where you have talented young people. And it's tough sometimes, especially when you're dealing with people that are, you know, um, are used to getting talented people and knowing how to deal with them. So a person like me, I'm in the streets all the time. I'm in the clubs. Avery will tell you, she invite me to something. I'm there. I'm the OG there. I'm paying attention to what the young people are doing, and I'll give them a pass. Let's put it that way. It's not like I'm just the old dude. I came from wherever they came from. I understand where they're coming from, but not everybody has that same compassion and love, for people. So you gotta, really, it's tough, because I hate to see when money is made and then we lose it, and that then doesn't go to 30 other African or brown, black or brown people. That money is gone. It just is gone, and it could have been kept in our community, and very often that money just goes away very quickly.
Yeah, when we first started, and I was part of that iconic Share My World album when we worked at CA Records. And yeah, Mary wasn't the Mary. And we signed so much less artists, and it was single, and an album, and you really developed it, and it had spacing in between. And, it's really sad that the artist suffers from it and music suffers. You know what I mean? The purity of music suffers. Um,
Yeah.
let's talk about how overwhelming it is, my A&R guys. So how overwhelming can it be to find new talent in this day and age?
To find a time to to find the time to do artist
Yeah,
development.
like how overwhelming it is for you guys to try to research and find new talent to sign.
Oh, it's for me. It's a bunch of talent out there, but also like for myself, I like to find the diamond in the rough. I like to find those kind of artists. I'm not a data guy. I want to find perfect example. Roddy Rich. I was around Roddy when he had 4,000 followers, and now he's like one of the number one artists in the world. So I love trying to find those artists. I don't like the artists that's here today and going tomorrow. I'd rather put my money in the loan shops, me personally.
Yeah, but how do you do that?
As because for me, and I mean this go back to you're older than me. Respectfully, you're older than me. So like I came up and I seen how DMX and Jay-Z did it grassroots. Like Steve Scout had to go to Nas projects to see if it was real. It wasn't just like these number things. Like I'm in the streets. I'm from Philly. I'm in the streets, so I know when something's real and when it's not real. I'm looking for the next hot kid from Louisiana. I want that real thing. I don't care about you doing millions of numbers on TikTok, because when it's time to go do real shows, those TikTok fans not there.
Now, I'm so glad you brought that up because the music game changed, and what they thought was they were going to get rid of a lot of us specialists, right? And so they started getting rid of a lot of the vets and bringing in all of these ad agency people because it was a numbers game. Then they realized that this numbers game isn't real. We live the culture, we know the culture, we feel the culture, and therefore the specialists are now needed. So I'm glad that you're in the streets because that's where A&R is supposed to be. They're not supposed to be in the office, looking at the computer every minute.
So it's two type of A&Rs now. You got research and you
Hmm.
got the streets. Where was hip hop made at? In the streets.
There you
You
go.
can't tell me shit about an artist behind a desk in a building. You can't tell me that because I'm in the streets for real and I know what's going on. I want the next Roddy Rich. I don't care. Whatever you doing on TikTok, they can let somebody else have it. I'm good.
You know what bugs me? This is random, but I was talking to an A&R at Warner, and he pretty much was like, 99% of the music that people send me are probably trash because if there's a fire artist, then I probably know about it. And I don't know if that's the approach that most A&Rs have, but I thought that was kind of off-putting because it makes me feel like he automatically writes off anyone that's being pitched to him. But do you feel the same way? Do you think that's the wave now?
Um, I can't speak for these other A&Rs. These
That's
half of these A and a lot of these A&Rs ain't even like live what we live through. So I mean,
right.
I,
Very true.
come on, man. Like you can't talk. I don't. That's like
Whole
a
new way.
loaded
Let me
question.
tell you, when you took that elevator upstairs in that record label, and it's before you even got off the elevator, boom, boom, like
There was
you
music.
knew where the
Hmm.
black music department was. Have y'all been up to a label lately? You can hear a pin drop. Like
Yeah,
what the
that's
Silence.
what I'm saying.
Silence. Boring. The culture is gone. There's
the
nothing going
culture is
on.
gone. It is such a corporate business that it is disrespectful to say the least. I was like, I thought I was in a library. I was like, oh my God. And I thought it was one label, then it wasn't, and then I'm like, oh, so this is just across the board. Okay. I don't know. Let's keep with the A&R track and let's talk about what platforms, right? So we have a lot of indie people, versioning artists, producers. What platforms should artists and producers be uploading their music to so that they can get the eyes on them?
I'll let Dizzy answer that.
Come on,
Shit. I mean, YouTube, SoundCloud, all the same thing. Just putting it. My thing is just like put it out. If they fuck with it, they fuck with it. You can't force the people to do. You can't buy them numbers and all that same shit. They go back to it. Like you just got to put the shit out. If it click, it click. You know what I'm saying? If it don't, it don't. And that's how I look at it. Just put it out, share it. Post it. Promote your shit. Spend money into your shit to market your shit, and do all the digital shit you have to do.
Okay, so let's stay on there. So how does an indie artist like start an independent label and want to start distributing music? Like what route do you think that they should take to get this stuff done?
Dizzy handle it. Go ahead, Diz.
I mean, there's a lot of things. Distro Kid is a whole different other stuff. They want to start the independent stuff and, make sure their business and all that stuff is set up with their lawyers, get the good, entertainment lawyer, make sure you structure your business right and everything else and, put it out and do what you do. So there's all different parties you can, if you want to do the independent way, you know.
And Mont, you're at Columbia. So if someone has a dope artist and they come to you and they want to sign, and they have a whole camp, should they be going for the production deal or should they push for a JV deal?
Um,
What most benefits them you feel?
as as I would say personally, a production deal. But first of all, trying to do like a J, that's a lot. Even asking for like millions of dollars for like a JB situation, like you like nowadays it's like that's hard to recoup.
Mm.
Millions of dollars is just hard to recoup, and that's why you don't see a lot of JBs no more. You don't. Back in the day, you had Rough Riders, you had Murder Inc., you had Rockefeller, you had well, Cash Money still doing their thing, but you had more JBs. Now it's not like that no more. It's hard. It's hard to recoup on that money. So I think probably the best way is to do a production situation.
Cool. So I want to ask the most argued question in the world. Does a true MC, to be considered a true MC, have to write their own lyrics?
I just talked to the Dream
Yes.
about this. I just talked to the Dream
Hey,
about this. That's crazy. He was talking about how like the work put into making a song isn't as like people don't see how much really goes behind making a song. And I asked him about ghostwriting, and I mean, he's obviously a songwriter, and I think I don't know. I'm a strong advocate for songwriting too. I mean, you see like someone like Jazzy at that interview who gave Billy Ray Cyrus the line about Fendi sports bras. Like I think we're in a space where it's dope to be collaborative, to have a songwriter help a poppin' artist, even if it's one line. Like it makes such a difference. The Dream talked about working with Beyonce on the Savage remix. Like I at first I was like, oh my gosh, Cardi didn't write all that song, but like now I'm like, okay, it's like the norm. I don't know. That's how
To
I
be an
feel.
MC, to be an MC, I'm from the Bronx, so definitely gonna speak my truth. You're gonna have to definitely write your own raps. And writing together collaboratively is a creative sport. That's a vibe in the studio. And I
Right.
think that's fine. I think that's beautiful. Everybody wants to make a really solid, great record. So I am not opposed to people coming together to make sure the song is ready to go and polished. Because they do that every day in LA. You know, they got different studios, they come together, they make music and get it done. But I think if you're gonna go with the title rapper, that's it comes with the territory. You gotta really be rapping. Now,
Well,
if me, my brand is artistry. It's artistry. It's called me as artistry. I'm all about the art. So meaning that if you are an entertainer, if you really entertain to the best of your ability, like Ron Suno, for example, my client,
He's
that's what he do.
hilarious.
He is an
Hilarious.
entertainer and he's great at that. He mastered being a great entertainer. Now he's rapping.
Facts.
There's a
He's on to the next. He's gonna
difference between
keep
a rapper
mastering. He's
and
gonna
an
keep mastering. He's
entertainer.
gonna keep
Right.
mastering. So people gotta start mastering, I feel like, and getting it, just writing for me, I think is definitely therapeutic and expression. So even if you are an artist that's just going into the booth freestyling, that's good too. But I think writing your own raps is key.
Yeah, I would say too that it's part of a larger mindset, right? That I think that digital landscape moves so fast right now that everybody wants things instantly. And I feel like that the art form and the beauty of like working on the craft and mastering the craft and putting in the time, all of that is getting lost because of TikTok and all these platforms and different things. And like, there are songs that aren't even real songs. They're like just sound bites from like TikTok that people are just making songs out of. And I think that there are a lot of artists that think that it's just this instant grat lifestyle where they can just sort of like very quickly like mock something up. And I think that the art of mastering one's craft and the art of like really putting in the time is like for certain genres of music, is getting lost. And I think for you to be a real lyricist and a real artist, I think that you have to write your own raps. And as a longtime Drake fan, that's a really hard thing to say, but I absolutely think that. So,
But I think it's two different things, and I want to get Ralph's opinion on this. I think,
Yeah, I want Ralph's opinion too on this. He
but
quite.
I think when you think of rapper, right, you think of Jadakiss, and when you think of an artist, you think of a Nelly. It's two different things.
right.
It's two different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Two different
Mm-hmm.
worlds.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
nah, I agree. Like while everybody was talking, I was thinking about Cardi B, and I was like, I love Cardi B. Like I want to hear Cardi B's next song. And I don't really look at her as like a Remy Ma, anymore. I just look at her like she got it. She figured out something. She's an entertainer, and that's fine for me. I'm good with that. I don't care if she wrote it or not. And but I respect, you know, the artist. I respect the artistry of writing because I'm a writer too. I write movies and I write scripts, and so I respect that process. So people that go through that, but I don't know if the fans really care. I'm not sure anymore.
Right.
We used to,
We
but
used
I'm
to.
not sure.
Okay, so my guy, uh, I don't know if I should say his name, but he actually like
Oh,
came up with like the Cardi part of the song Press, like when she goes Cardi, and like I don't think he was put on as a songwriter because it was technically ghostwriting. But what are your thoughts on that? Just being that little part of the song, just him having that contribution.
Well, that's the way the game is set up now. So however the game is set up is how it is. So what are we gonna do? It's like it's like TikTok. TikTok is like ringtones to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
That's exactly what it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not in the music industry in the same way you guys are, but as somebody who's in media, I think fans don't care as much. I think we can decipher who's who. When we look at a Cardi, we understand this is more of an artist who's going to, yeah, she's going to give us a hit, but we're not going to feel. I feel a lot of songwriters give you stuff that we feel. Like Nicki Minaj, she gives us records that we still say, like Roman's Revenge, that's a record I still rap and I still know the lyrics to. So I think for us in the new age, I look at artists as tribes, like and like kings of their tribe. So Cardi, I feel like her era was, or she, I mean, she's still in it. Like her whole thing is getting money. Because she always said, like, rap to her is a business. She wants to be an actor. She wants to sell clothes. She wants to make money. That's how she looks at rap. But then you have people like Nicki who's always wanted to do it her whole life. Like, I had this conversation with my team one time, and we were talking about like J Lo versus Mariah Carey. J Lo to me is a Cardi, Mariah is a Nicki. Like, Mariah is a purist. She's a singer. She's writing music. She's clever. She has a voice. J Lo, she is known for taking other people's, music vocally or letting an Ashanti sing the vocals on her songs and like not necessarily say she's not doing it, but still do it. And I think with her, she's a Cardi in a sense where it's about the brand. JLo's going to do the movie. She's going to get the Oscars. She's going to get the commercial deal. Like JLo is that. And Mariah, she's going to make the same amount of money, but offer her music. She's going to break the musical records because that's the way she built her brand and that's the passion she has. So I think with songwriting, especially when it comes to MCs, I think it's about the brand in general, like the brand in total. Is your brand that you write? Like Megan, her brand is that she writes. She'll say it in her rhymes, like no one's writing my shit. But with like a Cash Doll, she'll say, yeah, like I have people in the studio and they are giving me lyrics and we are doing it together and it's a team effort. So I definitely think as a fan, we don't mind. Like we appreciate them for what they're about because they all give us different energies.
So now we've made the music. I want to go to now. We need to bring the music to life. So Ralph, these questions kind of more hit on the video creative side. So I want you to let us know, because you've had some of the most prestigious directors in the business work for you, intern for you. I want you to let us know who were some of these greats and how did you pick talent? Like, how do you go about finding great talent?
Yeah, when I started my film and production company, my film production company, we were we saw, hip hop videos that were being done, and this was in the '80s, and we were like, yo, who's making these videos? Because they don't look like what the community looks like. We're like, they're not showing. They're talking about they're being on 125th Street, and they're not on 125th Street. They're in the studio. So we wanted to make it more reality, and so that's why we got involved. And through my TV show, I had relationships with these artists and started asking them if it, was possible to do their videos. We did a couple of videos. People saw it, and it took off from there. So, the relationship that the artists have now with their cameraman or their photographer is kind of the relationship I had back then with with these artists. And so we took that and then took it to back then most of these artists were signed to a record label. So we took that energy into Columbia Records or into Warner Brothers Records or whatever and said, hey, this is what we want to do. Like Nas, I directed It Ain't Hard to Tell. That's his first video. And Nas goes, look, I want Ralph to do my video. And the record label's like, well, no, we got, this guy, he just did Michael Jackson and this person who did this and this. Nah, this is who I want to do it. And so they called me like, Nas wants you to do this video. I said, yeah, okay, no problem. Like, I know Nas, this is my man. It's not like a person that I don't know. So we go out and we create a project, come back, they love it, boom, it takes off, and Nas is visual is there, that relationship is not always there, for everybody. Sometimes you have to create that relationship either with the label or with the management or whatever, with the artist directly. Artists and folks know art. They know it when they see it. They're like, oh man, this guy is incredible with the editing, or this guy is incredible with, with color and angles. So Hype Williams was my intern at the time. Hype Williams is incredible with the angles. And I'm like, yo, dog, he was just showing me stuff that he wanted to do before he was directing. And I was like, yo, that's dope, but he wasn't ready to direct. He wasn't ready. I thought he could, but he wasn't ready. And then he came and said, I'm ready to start directing.
And was that an insecure thing in him, or you just technically?
No, he just wasn't, he didn't, he was a graffiti artist. He was doing all kinds of other stuff. He just had his mind somewhere else. So by the time he got to the point where okay, I got it. He understood because he stood around us all the time watching us do it. He's like, oh, I can do that. So then we started giving him jobs, and that's how he, developed into, to me, one of the greatest, film music video directors of all time. And so Now here in you know in this time, I'm always looking for the person that can cut and edit and give me that vibe, you know, and create something visually, even digitally, that is going to be the next thing. You know, like I'm working on my documentary now. I'm like, I don't want my shit to be no old dude shit. I want my shit to look like young people want to get involved in it. You know, like I'm already old, and when I talk, people know I'm old, so I don't want to look old on top of it with my visuals and everything else. So I want it to be like some young head sees it and goes, "Yo, that's some dope shit." You know, who? Let me find out more about Ralph McDaniel. So, you know, that's always my energy. You know, and it's forward motion. I'm not. You know, one of the things about me and probably some other people that are here is that we're never satisfied.
That's
You
true.
know, we're never satisfied. We always want to do more, and we always want to do better. And instead of sometimes going, "Yo, that was some dope shit we just did," we're thinking about the next shit we're gonna try to do in the next 2 days. You know?
You
So.
know what really bothers me though, and I want your opinion on this. So back in the day, you had to really have connects or money to get into the studio, right? And equipment was so expensive and just hard to get. Now everything is cheap, accessible, the computer is there. But the innovation and creativity back in the day, that Cypress Killerman video, the Far Side rhyming upside down,
Word up.
what the fuck is wrong with the new art? Like, what? There is no innovation, and you got all this access. What happened?
I think that you know, technology makes it easier. Everybody's a DJ now because of Serato. You know,
Yeah.
everybody can do whatever, just learn the program. And you know, and we kind of become generic in a sense. We don't master it, you know. We have to master it. You know, there are people that, you know, understand how to work certain programs, but they go beyond it and master it, you know. And so those are the people that I want to see. Those are the people that I want to meet, you know, that have mastered everything. You know, there are certain producers when you hear they stuff and now, you know, and you go like, that sounds crazy. Like, how did they get that sound? You know, and I'm looking for that as well in a producer. I mean, in a director, in an editor, in, you know, somebody that, you know, creates clothes. You know, whatever it is. You know, they're there, but it's you know, they just need to. You know how it is. You know, like back in the days, I played sports too. So back in the days, there was the guy that was in the park. He was better than all the NBA players, but he never got that shot, and for whatever reason. So those people are out there, and they're probably watching this right now. But y'all have to step your game up too to let us know who you are and push the envelope. You know, like don't, you know, look. My man told me, you know, closed mouths don't eat. You know, you gotta fuck that being cool shit, man. Come on, step up and let us know who you are.
Do you think the DJ VJ landscape has changed for the better now?
Which landscape?
The DJ and the VJ landscape.
Yeah. Technology has brought it to a point. You know, like me, I'm a VJ. You know, so I'm into the visuals, and I'm always trying to get my thing up. You know, to a better level and a better quality and all kinds of stuff. Now we have Twitch for all people that want to create programming. Twitch is pretty cool. People are using that. And that was a gamer's place. So, you know, gamers were on there. Now music people are going to Twitch. We're late, you know, in the game, but the ability they have is awesome over there.
So Video Music Box has been on the air for how many years, Ralph?
Come on, Camille, don't ask me these questions.
Legendary.
37 years. I started in 1983. I was only like
You know how hot I
15.
feel right now? Like, I know Ralph, I know of Ralph. This is my first time interviewing Ralph. I'm like really hot right now. This is like so cool. It is so cool. Do you feel like there's enough video platforms, or is it too much right now? Or do we need more for hip hop and R&B?
I think that if we had, you know some producers and hosts that were really dope and they could do their own thing, and there's a place where it's like me. When I'm looking for the new videos, I go to certain blogs that kind of think like me.
Which
You know,
vlogs?
well, right, exactly, right. so, so different sites that show videos. So, you know, I'll go there and I'll go like, yo, what do they have? What did they post up today that's new? You know, like you mentioned hip hop DX, Shirley, and you know that was a place I used to go back in the days. You know, to
Same.
find certain things. You know, now I don't know. You know where I'm at right now. I can't even remember. But you know, I go to certain places where whoever's curating these things kind of thinks like me too, and I look for somebody like that.
Thank you. So we've created the music. Now we have a visual. I really think that this is a missing art form. And Shirley, I know you have to jump off soon, and I want to make
I'm
sure.
not. Dirk canceled on me, so we good.
Okay, cool. I wanted to grab the gems before we go.
Yeah.
Um, Content and narrative are such a big thing right now. It's almost like we're voyeurs and we want to know everything about the artist. And I want to know from you, what are artists lacking when it comes to articulating their story and their brand? Because you're the person that's getting the story from them. So, what are they lacking?
What are who lacking?
Artists, when they're speaking to you, what are they lacking in kind of giving you their story and their brand?
I mean, I think honestly, it's all contingent upon the artist. I don't know if this is the direction of the question that you're asking, but I think there's a huge value in media training your artists. Um, like I've interviewed artists that obviously, people from, like, say someone from the streets, like they're not used to opening up. They're not used to talking. They're not used to like articulating their words in a way that people can understand.
Yes.
I think there's a huge value in media training. I think also dependent on the interviewer. Like me personally, like I do my end on researching and listening to the music. That's a huge thing with me. Like the music to me at the end of the day is what matters. So I personally listen to the music and what they're saying, and I like to pull from that because at the end of the day, that's their real life. Sometimes I do feel like, I mean, I work at the radio station, and sometimes I feel like an artist going through promo is just so like routine. Like, oh, they ask them about the album, they ask them about the single, blah, blah, blah. But I think there's a way to dive deeper and just really connect with the artist and just pull things out that fans would really just fucking love to know and like relate to.
So,
Being able to relate to an artist is huge when it comes to the fan base.
so what do you consider a good story? A good artist-based story contains what elements?
Man,
Harissa interviewer Ron Suno.
yeah, Ron Suno was really great. We did an IG live, and like even just that platform to be able to do an IG live, because a lot of publicists and managers are resistant to it because it's not exclusive. But doing that IG live was cool to be able to see the comments come in, to
But why
see
was it dope, Avery? You said it was great. Why was it great? What made it great?
we vibe. Oh, you can answer.
Go ahead, Shirley. Go ahead. You can explain it. Go ahead,
Oh
Shirley.
no, you go. I'll go after you.
Sure. I think the reason why it was so great was because the client himself knows the time that I'm getting open. You know, my publicist prepared me beforehand, and I'm getting open, and I'm ready, and we're gonna have fun. IG Live is his playground. So it was him getting interviews on IG Live was a win for us in that sense. Because the artist, this is his platform. He's able to keep and grab an audience from any walk of life. Like last night, he did a full blown magic show on live last night with different magicians on live. And that in itself is something that people aren't doing. You know what I mean? As artists or doing anything different, opening their fan base and saying, me and you share these things, and now let's share it to the world. And let's do it collaboratively. I don't care how many followers I got, how many followers you got. So that vibe that the artist had with Shirley, which is pure, organic, authentic, and he was happy to do the interview.
Right.
That also that also makes a difference.
Right.
It's really true, and I think you hit it on the point. An artist really has to know themselves and who they are, and that's the lacking problem right now, that they don't know who they are. So we got to figure that out. Shirley, what has been one of your most phenomenal artist interviews
Oh my God.
in your career thus far, and why?
Dang, I feel like I have so many and I'm probably gonna forget them, but being able to interview Roddy Ricch the day he got nominated for his 2 Grammys, being able to talk to him about Rats in the Middle with Nipsey Hussle, seeing him talk about how bittersweet it was because he got that accolade, but at the same time Nipsey's gone. Just being able to talk to an artist about those key moments that'll live with him for the rest of his life, like that just, that's so priceless to me. So Roddy was a big one. Dang, I don't know, I have more recently I've been doing a lot of IG lives. I thought my like Mario was so, I don't know, when artists have a personality that's so genuine and like going back to what you're saying, the point about how artists can be better with the media stuff, just showing your personality. Like Mario was, he's vegan, he's healthy, he loves music to the core. You know, this is a guy that Let Me Love You came out at age 17, and how many ever decades later, he still has that same drive and passion. Like, I just love to see when an artist has, when at the core, it's music. It's not money. It's not fame. It's music. Even with The Dream, like, it's all about the music. And yeah, I don't know. Those interviews just make me feel happy to see that just their passion.
Right.
And I could list all the interviews I've done, but those, I don't know, just some examples. Omarion was great. He's so happy. It's crazy to see someone like Omarion who has been constantly dragged in the media because of whether it be relationship issues or, you know, love and hip hop. I feel like love and hip hop easily taints an artist, but like seeing him so positive and like non-receptive to the negative comments and the negative stigma that media puts on an artist, like there will be a headline and automatically they're dragged all over, and that's crazy to me. But just seeing how they're able to be so positive, like Omarion is such a positive person, and I don't know, just moments like that I just can really appreciate.
No, you know what I love about this business, and I think being in the back of the business, when you have worked with someone who's so creative, it is such a special feeling that, you know, you can't compare it to another feeling, or you bring someone's creativity to fruition. Like that's such a natural high. I don't even know what to say. When I would come up with an idea and an artist would just believe in me, and then they get on stage and do it, it was like the angels were singing. You know what I mean? So it's great. Do you think?
I have a quick question,
Yes.
Camille, and this is for the writer like Shirley. So you do a great interview with an artist, and you and the artist are vibing, and then you take that to, let's say, a complex or whatever, whoever's distributing this thing, and they are able to edit and take certain
Oh my
parts
god.
that work for them, that make them, I forget what the term is, the byline or whatever it is
Yes.
called.
Yes.
Yeah. And it changes the whole idea of what people think this interview might be, right?
Oh my gosh, it totally does. My editors have completely butchered things for me. That's actually something that I've learned to just accept. To be completely honest, it's weird to me. It's weird. I don't have a problem with them editing my content. Is that what you're asking? Like them
Well,
editing?
I think maybe for the people that are watching, maybe explain what that process is.
So I turn in my article, my draft with, I transcribe the article, I write the intro, I turn in my version. The version that goes out is edited by my editor, but that's only for sites like Variety and Revolt. I mean, Revolt doesn't really edit my stuff. Sites like Variety. I remember I interviewed Quentin Miller for Rolling Stone, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. But he had like completely rewritten, like he didn't completely rewrite it, but he had fixed the intro in his voice, and it just wasn't me. It was words that I didn't even know what they meant, and it baffled me because I was like, dang, like I feel like it almost did me injustice because it made me feel like he deserved credit on that byline, but at the same time, it's these editors' jobs to make the piece look as company abiding by company guidelines, you know.
Right.
And I will say my journey in media has been rough. I've been cursed out. I've lost relationships. For instance, like this isn't negative now because me and Dennis are cool, but when I interviewed Dennis Graham, for Variety, the article went out. I had a little question about R. Kelly. And it's okay. I love my editor, but she's literally amazing, but she decided to put R. Kelly in the headline. The internet went crazy. Drake hit him like, what the fuck are you doing? Dennis called me like hell, like so angry, and like thank God we made up, but like that was so traumatizing for me. I literally turned in this amazing interview because Dennis put on a song. We're tight. I wanted to support him in the song, but that little ad of R. Kelly in the headline and him saying that, you know, like that's his homie, whatever. He didn't advocate for like his actions, but what he said was misconstrued in the headline, and that just, it just completely snowballed. That was just
Yo,
crazy to me, but yeah.
that could be a problem out there in the streets too.
It's crazy. But a lot of people just read the headline, they don't read the article, and I'm guilty of that too, you
Yeah.
know? So,
Shirley, do you feel that journalism has lost its relevancy, or is it peaking?
ooh, I don't know about peaking. I definitely think we are in a digital space. I think less people are reading. I think more people are on their phones. They would rather watch a piece of content on Instagram or YouTube than read an article because who really wants to? I interview artists for like an hour, and sometimes these articles are so long, and like I definitely think, especially as the youth becomes more exposed to technology, to social media, to their smartphones, actual editorial pieces are being less seen. And that's why I do digital content and power, and I'm constantly trying to figure out how to gauge interest with the audience instead of them clicking and leaving in like 2 seconds. So I definitely think we're in a digital space, and that's just the reality of it. I'm concerned about the future generations because they're just it's younger and younger how they're getting on their smartphones. But I do think, like, I think there's a value in an editorial piece, and I personally hope that I can preserve that value for as long as I'm doing it. But I will definitely agree to say that digital has definitely taken over.
Yeah, and let's stay with digital, Mike. How important is digital marketing in this landscape? And should artists and labels create budgets to sustain digital?
It is one of the most important things, if not the most important things. And to answer, yes, definitely. I think digital marketing, I think that the beauty of it is that you don't have to guess anymore, right? You don't have to guess who your audience is or where to find them. I think that you can use digital platforms and digital resources to find out not only where your audience is, but how to also grow it, right? So using places like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, but then also like doing marketing with influencers and tastemakers. And I think that leveraging digital marketing is your modern day strategy for building an audience and, fan base. And I think that part of that is marketing and a part of that is making you and your art visible, but the other part is leveraging digital marketing to drive revenue, right? So streaming counts for most of the total business revenue. So part of digital marketing is not only to get strategies to get the music heard, but to get people to listen to it and drive revenue. So I think that it's one of the most important things, and I think that a good digital marketing strategy can either make or break a record or an album, and the amount of money that you spend can also dictate how far something goes, right? So I think that one of the best ways to look at breaking down a budget right now is the type of an organic reach versus paid reach, right? So what is the content that you're creating to market and push something? So if you're putting out a song or video or project now, you're in COVID, right? So it's very, very challenging. Are you creating lyric videos? Are you creating animated videos? Are you creating trailers and teasers and social content? And I think that a part of that budget is using the money to make that content, to market that product and put that out. And then on the paid side, seeing what starts to react and do well. And once you see something start to poke its head up, you double down on that and you put money into that. And I think that budgets range from all different sizes, from all different artists and different genres. But I think that the digital marketing strategy that you have and the amount of money that you spend can dictate whether a record goes or not. Absolutely.
Is there a difference between marketing and digital marketing?
I think there is. I think that the gap is growing ever slimmer. But the idea of marketing, I think, is you're trying to promote and sell something, right? And I think that using digital marketing is one way to do that. But I would also categorize press as marketing. I would categorize radio as marketing. There's a lot of other factors and verticals that I think fall under marketing and the idea of trying to promote and sell something. And I think that, you know, digital marketing is the lion's share of that just because of the sort of general landscape. But I do think that there are non-digital factors, right? One could argue that touring is a form of marketing, right? That you're getting in front of an audience. And I think that digital is the lion's share, and it's what everyone is trying to accomplish and do. But there are a couple of other verticals that I do think also fall under, you know, marketing.
Yeah, traditionally, as a marketer, we wouldn't deal directly with DSPs as much as you do, right? Um,
Sure.
we're doing photo shoots, we're organizing video shoots, we're doing timelines, we're, product managing the artists for the label. Not to take away, but marketing tends to have a little bit more creative in the digital marketing, even though you do come up with campaigns and stuff. But I think we get more headaches than you because we're dealing with babysitting a lot. But for digital marketing, do you think that it helps an artist's longevity in the business? And what platforms do artists need to focus on to move the meter in this landscape?
That's a great question. So I think that to answer the first part of that, I think that viral marketing and using digital marketing can help to kind of jumpstart something. But the long-term career of something is, I think, taking that spark and figuring out a way to give that legs and build an actual brand around it, right? There's a lot of viral records and there's a lot of things that come and go, right? Like if you were to look at, let's just say, Spotify's viral charts, right? A lot of those records and a lot of those artists are not going to be relevant in 6 months or 8 months or 10 months. And I think that it's really important to figure out how do you capitalize off of that viral moment and figure out how to build an actual brand on that. So for argument's sake, the Little Nas X, right? The Little Nas X game plan of like taking a song that blew up off of TikTok, he had a viral moment that him and his team were smart enough to be able to turn into something larger, right? And I think that he's still telling his story and still building his story, but that could have very easily been a 4 or 5 month thing.
He had a Nicki Minaj fan page on Twitter and changed it to his own personal. Like those numbers are crazy.
Just really smart, right? Like them just kind of thinking out the box.
That's
And I think as far as platforms, I think that the record label digital guy in me has to say TikTok. But I also think that it's based on the genre, right? Like I think certain types of music do better in certain places, right? So for argument's sake,
Teach us that. What does that better where?
so lyrical hip hop does really well on Facebook. So if you're figuring out the budget, it might be important to spend money on Facebook. If you're targeting a young demo, let's just say between 15 and 22 or 3, probably TikTok, right? Southern hip hop dominates YouTube. There's certain places that I think based on the genre, I think that kind of gears where that money is spent. And I think something that's also important is that we're all trying to do very similar things, right? Like when COVID started and everybody started to social distance, everyone is on live, right? It's literally impossible to go on, Instagram and not see 7 or 8 different lives, as soon as you pop in. And I think that begs the question is like, if everyone is on live, how do you separate what you and your brand are doing? So I think that when you look at a Tory Lanez Quarantine Radio, he did an incredible job at separating himself from every other live out there. And that then starts to snowball into he breaks the actual Instagram live record for most number of, viewers, to partnering with YouTube Music on the first ever home stream concert partnered with YouTube during COVID, and all these interesting things. And I think that it's one thing to just use the platforms. It's another thing to take it a step further and say, all my competition and everyone else is trying to do the same thing. How do I get interesting with this? And how do I do something that people connect with, but also separates me?
Right. Nice. So now we've done all the back work, and now we have to create the story, my media phenomenons. When should an artist, when is the right time for an artist to hire a publicist? And I leave that open to Shirley, the panel,
Say
Avery.
that one more question.
Yeah. When
Say
should
that.
an artist hire a publicist? When's the right time?
I actually just created my own LLC, and I'm looking to rep artists because there are some people that I just really, really believe in. Um, I think it's reasonable to have a campaign around your single and your project. I've had moments where people want to wait like a month. I recently did an interview. They don't want to run it till June. I did it last month, which is crazy, but I definitely think around the time when you're releasing is smart,
Mm-hmm.
or when you're relevant. So
Avery,
yeah,
you agree?
definitely.
Yeah, so I think that the best time for an artist to hire a publicist is when they know that they have a manager that is moving in a direction of in that digital space. I think artists don't realize when their managers aren't the right managers for them. I do not want to be that publicist that is the publicist, manager, product manager, assistant, and all of that in the campaign for you. And I think once you find the right manager that understands how to manage you and who has an open mind that may be willing to spend money on certain things, that's when it's time. If you're alone and you're by yourself, you may not have management, but you want to just tap in and see how you can work with a publicist. That's beautiful. But you know what? Maybe just ask for a consultation call.
Mm.
Get on a phone call, figure out what it is that you need. Figure out if that publicist works that will work with you like the right way. I think that it takes
I'm
a
glad you.
lot of understanding. I think I would rather an artist instead of wasting my time just get on a phone call with me and pay for me for a consultation so I can go through everything with you. I want to teach the artist what is going on. I want everybody to move the right way so we can all make money. You
So
know,
what
like
do I, as an artist, expect from you, publicists? What are you doing for me?
publicist, the main goal is to be that that gatekeeper that helps with exposure and publicity, that helps with any brand, any music you release, any book, any item that you want to drop. The publicist is there to make sure that the media support is there, and we relate the artist or the brand to the media to make sure the media is covering the story, covering the product, covering the idea, covering movie, film, etc. So covering would only help bring more people to believe, which is earned media. So where our job is to provide deliverable earned media. And with us pitching, our job is to, persuade. I went to school for media communications. I got my bachelor's. I had to take persuasion. And that is what it is. We have to persuade. We have to really get people engulfed in this artist brand. So, I mean, it's not an easy job. Not an easy job.
How do you feel about targeting like the main publications, like say, because most artists, correct me if I'm wrong, want the Complex, they want the Billboard, they want the Fader, like, and then most upcoming artists might not be a fit for them yet. Maybe they're not big enough or whatever have you. But like, what is your take on like,
How do you measure success in publicity?
right, right?
Well, now,
That's what people
well,
want.
well, what I do, I measure it by basis, right? And I tell the client off that the publications that I have direct access to who are, who believe in me. And whatever I bring to the table, they know that's real, they respect it, they appreciate it. They're going to make sure that they hold me down by providing that article for me. So I have specific people that I have those relationships with that will make sure that the client's coverage is up there. But then there are people that I'm pitching to that I don't know. Cold emails, everything. I'm waking up early morning, crack of dawn, emailing. And guess what? It's all about measuring, and that's by providing monthly reports. You provide clients with monthly reports or information explaining to them what the media outlet is saying, what they think that they should work on, or what it is that the brand needs more of. And a lot of the time, I find it easier to pitch an artist when they have strong numbers, strong stats. So a lot of times I do expect for an artist to hire digital marketing and hire marketing because guess what? It's going to be harder for you to even think you're going to get Complex with over 1,000 views. Let's be for real. So those things are all like just honest conversations that I have with my clients, and that's just real customer service. You know
Right.
what I mean? So that's kind of how I view it. and I just be real with them. And if Complex said no, Complex says no, but we move on to the next. Move on to the next. We figure out other ways. I work around it. I won't accept the no right away, but you got to work around it. And for me, I think Complex, for the most part, they're not in the pulse of what's going on anyway anymore. There's so many media platforms that's in the pulse of what's going on in hip hop and what's going on.
Really? You don't think Complex is as relevant? That's interesting.
Meaning because if I'm coming from like how Mont was explaining before, if I'm coming from me where I know what's going on in the streets and I know what's going on in corporate, I'm looking at this outlet like y'all don't really know what's going on.
So what outlets are knowing what's going on in your opinion right now?
Shade Room?
Hot new hip hop, Shade Room,
Shade Room.
the neighborhood talk. The Shade Room is like not really press, but it's still media. Still like a top platform.
Like the biggest. People want Shade Room more than anything else.
Horrible.
Yeah, so I don't really consider that press, but in terms of like.
Now.
Yeah, like in terms of the pulse of what's going on, I think there's many platforms like Double XL, et cetera. Because Double XL, for example, I can get placement on Double XL, and that's because of how they write on their website. Like they have weekly wrap ups or monthly videos, wrap ups, and those are the things that you place your artist in. That's how I do it. I know that, okay, for the 3rd month campaign, you have a music video that's going to drop. I know that every end of the month, Double XL does artists to watch or videos at the end of the week or videos at the end of the month. I know that I'm pitching the client for that, So that's kind of how I go about it. I want to reach past the sky because I'm above the sky, you know what I mean? But I also want to make sure that I'm realistic and I want to feel good. I don't want to feel like I'm lying. I don't want to lie.
Can I add something? What
Yeah,
you
please,
just said, Avery?
please.
I'm gonna backtrack what Avery said. She said when getting PR is like, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you said it's the manager job to get a PR.
No.
Okay, what you say?
I think it's the manager's job to be open and because I met a lot of artists that might be really good artists, and their manager's mentality is not the right fit.
Oh, okay.
Or artist managers may not be as, may not understand everything. So it's like the blind leading the blind.
Perfect.
You get what I mean? And that's something that it's all right. That's your friend. That's your homie. He's working with you in your career. That's beautiful. That's great. But I want us to get on the same page. So consultation is needed. Helping them understand what PR is needed first, because a lot of times they don't know. They think I'm here to get them lit, and I'm like, I am, but that's not everything.
Go ahead, Shirley.
I was just gonna say I would disagree. I don't know if it's my experiences, but most managers that I work with are super receptive to press. I would say they love it. They want as much press as possible. Every time I interviewed artists, they're like, "Oh, is there anywhere else we could go?" I don't know if that's touching on what you were saying.
I was saying it. I was saying it in a state of that a lot of artists got it mixed up, thinking a manager is supposed to pay for everything or a manager is supposed to do everything. That's not the truth. A manager and an investor are just two different things. That's what I was saying.
Absolutely. Sorry, Steve, small call. And the investor, their job is to invest and to recoup and everything else. And the manager's job is to manage the situation. The publicist's job is to publicize the situation.
Right.
And we have to all work cohesively in a plan. So I just like to work with people where I feel like they understand what our goals are. After we set the goals up and we come together with the strategy, I just want whoever I'm working with to be working as a team, because a lot of times, a lot of artists, from my experience, from doing PR for the past 5 years, they expect everything is like, I paid you, like you do everything, and that's not the case.
Yeah, got you.
A big
How do you feel about certain outlets or sites only placing artists on following? Right? Like I think that some people are now gearing towards only wanting to post certain artists based on number of social followers or level of impact versus it just what it used to be, which is based on the actual music. How do you feel about that, Avery?
I deal with that a lot. I don't think that's fair. I think that even like when you see like certain websites and they have like indie spotlights or indie whatever, none of those columns are updated regularly. They don't care.
Right.
They don't care. And for the artists that really care and they want to really learn about the business, they want to put their best foot forward by paying for a publicist or paying for whatever, this is how they get discouraged.
Right.
Yep.
A big
So
part of
that's
media
Very true.
is lifestyle. And shame on me, Gabrielle, when I first heard about MeatFeeder, I didn't realize it was a young Black woman working on this brand. So my question to you, Gabrielle, is how can someone create a lifestyle brand like MeatFeeder?
Okay, so it's going to take a lot of tenacity. It's going to take a lot of no's. It's going to take a lot of times where you don't feel like you're doing enough, but you are. It's going to take a lot of just risk and like just going hard for something you believe in. I mean, I think anyone can create a brand right now, but what you need the most, you need a voice. I feel like that's the most important thing. And I think you need to look at what's missing in the market and you need to become that. Meth, like we're all about women, we're all about women of color. You know, there's a lot of hip hop brands, like you guys named Complex, you named Double XL, but no one's really catering to women. Like everyone's catering to men. And women buy the most. Like we make up some of the biggest demographics. So it's like you have to look at what's missing, and I feel like you have to be everything for one group and don't care about the other groups. That was one thing that was one of our biggest critiques coming out. You know, we're very pro-black, and you know some people weren't feeling that, but it's okay because that's our demographic. We wanted to be a voice for Black women. So yeah, I think you need to know your demographic, and you got to work hard, and you can't take no for an answer.
What type of content do you look to post on MeatFeeder?
So we're very fashion driven. So we're always going to look for something that's very high fashion, stylized. We're pro women and we're pro LGBT. So I want to support artists and celebs or even regular people that have those same branding and messaging. So I'm not going to promote you if you are talking down about the LGBT community or you're talking down about Black women. If you're Kodak Black and you're telling me that you want certain women to look a certain way, I'm not going to post you because that's not my demographic. So I'm looking for people that share my messaging, and when I post it,
What is your platform called?
it's called Meth Eater.
Meth.
So it's the pink sign. I should probably have something in the back, but it's the pink. It's the pink background with a white M.
And what is MeatFeeder contributing to the culture?
Oh wow, that's a great question. Okay, so for us, we're contributing like we're we're basically giving the culture the high end part of the spectrum, right? So every culture has their differences. For example, our counterparts, they have Vogue, right? So white America, they have Vogue as their high fashion magazine. And then they'll have like their gossip magazine, which will be People. They'll have Nylon, which fits a more Midwestern hippie type of demographic. You have all your demographics across the board for our demographic, especially people of color, we'll have Shade Room, we'll have Baller Alert, we'll have the Neighborhood Talk, all great blogs, all great affinity accounts, amazing. But no one's really giving you the higher end of things. Those things are amazing, and I love them to death. But it's like we need to see other representation. We need to see other excellent things. So that's the thing we're contributing most to the culture. We're contributing representation. I want people to see themselves represented so they know they're beautiful, they know they're important, they know they're enough. And then we're also contributing different journalism. I mean, you're not going to see the same type of content on a Complex on a Meth. Like, I'm going to talk about how Keenan got his first show on ABC. That's a solo show. And, you know, Complex is going to talk about something else. But it's just a different energy I want to bring to the culture. I just want to bring excellence and acceptance and just perseverance.
And we appreciate you for it. So the next set of questions are open to the entire panel to answer, please. What are the keys to staying relevant in this business?
Okay, I can say it from a media standpoint. I think you have to stay relevant. I think you need to be creative. I think you need to be creative. I think you need to be honest. I think you need to be honest with yourself and your audience. I think if you're not comfortable doing certain things, you shouldn't do it. And I think you should be very strategic in what you do. So someone like a Sweetie, she's been doing a really good job keeping relevant during quarantine. Her whole brand is Icy Girl, and she's given you what we want to see. She's given us looks, she's given us body, she's given us hair, and she's given you things that you really want to see. So I think to stay relevant, you have to know what your audience appreciates you for, and you have to deliver it constantly, but don't overdo it, and don't necessarily just do something you don't want to do just to be seen. People can smell desperate a lot, especially in media. You can see who's desperate.
I just found out that she signed with Purple Agency, and I think it's so interesting that these major label artists have outside PR. I think that's interesting.
I feel like you have to, because the thing about it is, I think a lot of the major artists and a lot of the major celebs, I think they realize that you need different specialty in different parts of your brand. Like Normani has a deal with Wilhelmina, you know, that's a modeling agency, but that makes sense because she's a high fashion girl. So you're going to need an agency that knows how to deliver high fashion content and high end content. Same for Sweetie, and same for a lot of them that do the Wilhelmina. And sometimes it doesn't make sense. Like when I saw Phaedra Parks do it, I said, okay, Phaedra, that's interesting. But I see what she's trying to do. She wants to be seen in a different way. So I think it makes sense when you have that type of PR. However, that type of PR where it goes wrong, sometimes they don't connect with the black side of the audience, especially with fashion designers. You'll see like a purple PR do the PR for Laquan Smith. They don't know any of the black influencers. They don't know Quavo. They don't know Kiki Palmer, and they're curating a list that's very high end in the sense of the fashion world, but not hitting it in the hip hop world. So you have to be careful of that too.
Ralph relevancy, mine too. Like how do we
I,
remain?
I, I want to hear from the OG Ralph, man. He been
Yeah,
in it for so long. Your mic, your mic.
your mic. Yeah, unmute.
Come on, Teddy Riley.
Oh, come on. So you know what's crazy is that I used to get into arguments with cats about it's something that Gabrielle was just talking about was like when we first started hip hop, it was just like certain magazines and certain TV shows and certain radio shows, the college radio and the video music box, my TV show, and the Source magazine and Right On magazine, and that was it. It was just a small group. And then as hip hop began to grow, you started getting MTV, and you started getting all these general magazines that were buying into what hip hop was, and the publicists at that level in the beginning were happy to meet me. Then you started getting these outside agencies, like somebody just mentioned just now. And then you got to those outside agencies, and all they knew was their circle of friends, MTV, the big white companies. And so we were like, yeah, I'm Ralph McDaniels. Yo, I'm video music, but you're not on the A list. No. What are you talking about? This is how they got there. This is how these artists got there. Nah, we don't have you on the list. So you had to figure out a way now to get past that barrier. And we had to get creative. Like I could have easily been, like the dude on the side, like, yo, he's just corny, man, and just, and lay back. But I didn't do that. I figured out a way to create relevance for myself and then move past all of that, that blocking, because I realized that a lot of people just don't know. They just don't know. And they just got a job and they really don't know. And then, I can't hold that against them. Some of them were a little arrogant, so we had to put them in their place. But on the regular, we just figured out a way to get creative and become and develop a relationship with these people. And that is what helped us to get to the next level. And that's what keeps me relevant, is that I try to, if I see something that's going on or I see somebody that has a platform, like, like Avery is dope. Like I sit and watch Avery and she doesn't even know this, but I do. I think she's dope, because I see how she moves in the jungle. Like she's in the jungle, and then she's on a high end. She's doing it on all levels. And I'm like, that's me, like I appreciate that in somebody, and that's the most important thing, is to, look at somebody that you dig, somebody that you like, and try to be like them. And that's okay. Like we mentioned Diddy, a couple times. Diddy used to watch me. He watched me do parties. He watched me do all this stuff. And then eventually he was like, yo, I want to start doing the choreography. and I started doing videos, and I started doing videos for Uptown. He's like, "Yo, Rock, I'm a choreographer. I'm gonna be the choreographer for that." And then he became the A&R dude, and then he became this, and then he got kicked out because he was doing too much, and he started Bad Boy. And that's when he started to learn what it is to be the real entrepreneur, pay the bills and stuff. And then he became that dude. But he always kept that next level with him. He
And
always
you didn't get
give
it,
that
and
back.
I really wasn't gonna bring it up, but and I know a lot of my old school hip hop people, they don't like to hear it, and why is everybody so bitter? Like, how can we bring listen, I get it. The new generation, they get the mad bread that the other hip hop artists didn't get. I
Yeah,
think for people like you, Diddy, Fat Joe, they've embraced the younger generation. They've embraced trap. I think that some of our old school legends like to live in this bubble, and there's so much that we could be learning from each other. It's sad.
yeah. No, they're mad. They're not mad at the artist now. They're mad for something else. They're mad at something. I always look at where's the energy coming from. Like, are you really mad at that artist, or are you mad at yourself? Because maybe you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Maybe you didn't do all the things that you were asked to do, and
Right.
maybe you blew some opportunities, and and that's really what happened. Instead of being mad at whoever, Takashi 6ix9ine or whatever it is, maybe that's a bad example.
Yeah, that's a
Maybe,
bad example.
yeah, yeah.
No, but we get it, right? Yeah, yeah. You have to really reflect on yourself. Like I did an interview, I forgot for a magazine, and they asked me what's been my greatest accomplishment, and I said that I'm still relevant today, and I'm still working with young executives in the business because I've just kept myself open to change. And
Yeah,
if one lane closed, I was trying to figure something else out, and I think it's just a constant hustle, and you guys are the innovators of hustle. Like it can't stop.
Yeah.
yeah. No, you got to keep on going, and I listen. I mean, I learned so much in this hour and a half that we've been on, and I think that I know a lot, but I knew that I was going to get something out of it. And hopefully, somebody gets something from me. Like I have to jump off, and right now I thought we were going to go to 8:30 today, so I'm sorry, but I want to connect on another level at some time with everybody that's here,
Yeah,
and,
I'm gonna
and
connect everybody. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
thank you, thank you so much,
Thank
and I
you.
appreciate. I
So,
appreciate everybody.
Salute, salute, bro.
top song in the last 3 to 5 years. Thank you, Ralph. Top song in the last 3 to 5 years, guys. What's the been one of the most monumental songs,
The box.
and why?
The box for sure. Yeah.
Why?
Because the world just ate that shit up. That was the last song I would think would go crazy off that album. I wanted to bring up something, sorry, not to sidetrack, but
No, go
someone,
ahead.
I think it was Mike, you mentioned TikTok, but like,
Hmm.
I feel like TikTok is in a space where an artist's song will go viral, but there's no naming that song.
Mm.
No root, and that's the difference with Triller, because with Triller, I think you can actually put the name of the song and the artist, and that it populates that. But TikTok, you could have a song go viral, no one knows who the artist is. That's crazy to me.
So that's what happened. Can you hear me? That's what happened with Ron Suno. Basically,
Right,
he had Pinocchio. It went viral without him knowing, and it so
right,
happened that another dude, white dude, he ended up creating a challenge to dance for it. Started dancing, and then all the kids thought it was his song, and his following went up.
right,
Ron had to catch up. Like, wait, hold up,
right.
who is this? Who is
I
this? What's
think
going on? And then eventually, a week later, Ron caught up to the guy, and then they pretty much collaborated with content and created another TikTok video together, to where the fans finally got it. Oh, that's the guy on the song. Oh, but that in itself is like, that's crazy.
that's crazy.
That's crazy. What if his manager, Ron's manager, wasn't like crazy? Like, no, we gotta find this guy. No, what if So I think it really takes, we gotta really protect our intellectual property somehow. I like TikTok, but because that happened, I do see some problems with that.
You know what?
So,
Hey, Avery.
Give me your top song in
Oh,
the last 3 to 5 years.
mine, I would say, I'm sorry, Bodak Yellow.
Kodak Yellow.
Bodak Yellow came out at the time that So it was like a good and bad, you know, for that song Bodak Yellow. And the fact that I know the person that wrote the song, and that person is a rapper that's been rapping their whole life in Harlem and has been hood famous his whole life, and he did a record for Cardi B, and I don't know, it's just interesting. So
My
Bodak
name
Yellow.
Mott. Dizzy and Mott. Top song the last 3-5 years.
Oh, I don't know. That's a hard one. That's some good records. I mean, I'm gonna just be biased and say Roddy Ricch, The Box, because I seen it when he was just a kid eating McDonald's from Compton in the studio trying to figure it out. So it's
It was a
amazing to
great.
see him.
It was a great song. It was. The whole project was so well produced. Everything about
And also, I can't, not even because I'm on Columbia, but Little Nas X had a hell of a run.
Right.
Killed it.
Mm-hmm.
it. Can't take that
He
from him.
killed it.
Can't take that
So,
from him. What you saying, Dizzy? You agree?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I would throw maybe Hot Nigga in there or something. You know, I don't know. A lot of good songs. It's crazy.
You got one, Mike?
I, I think I have two. I would go with Travis Scott, Sicko Mode.
Okay.
Drake, definitely Sicko Mode, and God's Plan probably Drake.
Yes, yes.
I feel
yeah.
like
Yeah, that's a
when
good one.
that record dropped, it was literally everywhere. You couldn't go down the street and not hear it.
True.
So
Now is
True.
my tea time. I call this our tea time where we kind of break down what the hell is going on with these artists in the industry. So let's talk about little TJ. So this week, little TJ had a breakdown, and he want to start talking about Chinese kitty. And what's the other one? What's the other Rose girl?
Ruby Rose, I love
Ruby
Ella.
Rose. He jumped from Ruby Rose to Chinese kitty. Then he went after A Boogie's girl.
Ella.
Then Boogie came in, and then here goes Don Q. And so on Say Cheese, the next day he says he's going back to his old him, and he's done arguing about it, and it's all about the music. Well, on academics, Don Q didn't want to hear it, and he said, you got to stand on certain shit you say, not accept it. What's going on with these little boys? Are they using this as like tools for promotion of dropping it, or are they putting them? What's wrong? What is wrong?
See, I always think about that. I always think, is it a publicity stunt? Because I know Ruby, and I her tweets seem so real, but at the same time, in my mind, I'm like, is this a publicity stunt for a new single? Like, but like to me, TJ's numbers are coming from. He doesn't need that. And
Right,
Mon, you're at Columbia with him, so you probably know. But like, I'm a huge fan of TJ. But I always wonder if things are publicity stunts. I always wonder that.
I
Well, these
mean,
people been had beef in the streets, and little TJ been had beef in the streets before he even got big. When
He's
he
a
was with
kid.
another label, so he already had beef with people before this time frame of 2020. It's just things had accumulated, and a lot of people have beef with high bridge artists, which is Don Q and A Boogie. A lot of other Bronx areas have problems with that block. So that's what's going on.
I mean, then what people, everybody in the industry got to realize that people get worked up about stuff like that. 9 out of 10, they never really want to see each other. Everybody moves differently.
Right.
So, what's the chances of TJ really seeing Down Q and A Boogie? They not at the same shows. They don't do the same shit. So, niggas, people could pop shit all day. We ain't really gonna see each other.
right,
And if we do see each other, we not gonna be the ones that's getting into it. It's gonna be security and our homies.
right.
Yeah.
That's very true. Were we happy for the a little excessive push that Kanye had to go after Forbes to prove his real billionaireship?
No.
Poor Kanye didn't. I mean, it didn't make the gravity that Jay-Z did. So what was that about?
I love Kanye.
I love
Nah,
I would
Kanye.
man.
say it's a Gemini thing.
You
The
think so?
Gemini thing. People, the Gemini thing. You know how they
Yeah,
do.
they
They
are
want to
crazy.
make sure they let people know. Gotta let people know.
Yeah, yeah, they are crazy.
Nah, I think it's important though because like even when he was trying to like figure the whole Yeezy thing out and his whole mindset, people thought he was crazy. But like this what he been fighting for. So
Right.
to see it come to fruition, nah, nigga, put my other $1 billion on there, put my other 100 million
You
on
worked for
there.
it. You worked for
I earned
it.
that.
Right.
I earned
Kanye the
that.
billionaire.
Yeah.
My last little T has to do with the troller himself, 50 Cent. This week he opened up to Baller Alert about Oprah Winfrey, and he says the talk show host called his music lyrics misogynistic. And in the article, I guess, he has his new book out, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. And in it, it was
What?
saying how he was so happy and for his grandmother, his mother to find out, well, not his mother's dead, his grandmother, that he was going on Oprah's show. And then when he got on the show, it just kind of killed him when she just turned the tables on him and started talking about how negative and violent his lyrics were, and he was misogynistic. And he says, to this day, that still bothers him. And
Oh
is that
wow.
a problem within our community that we should, back in the day, Dionne Warwick was with the steamroller on the CDs. Like, do we need to do better? I mean, should somebody like 50 still be worrying about shit like that?
Okay, so you know what? I'll say this. I really like Oprah, but you know what? There's been a lot of videos that resurfaced of Oprah being very questionable. I think with 50, he's human, so it's okay to care. She's an idol. You know, Black people look at Oprah as somebody who's made it, who's someone who is basically Black excellence. So when somebody that you looked up to doesn't necessarily accept you, yeah, it bothers you. So I can understand him saying that in his journey, and I was very honest. I think, however, though, he should look at Oprah as more as a human. Because when I saw the interview Oprah did with the basketball player with the blondes. I think he's like bisexual.
Dennis
It went
Rodman?
viral. Yes, yes,
Okay.
Rodman. It went viral because she kept asking him like, "Are you gay? Do you like men?" And it was very aggressive in the sense where it was like he wasn't ready to come out with that, but she just wanted to push. He wanted to push. So I think with 50, he has to understand that Oprah is doing a job. She's getting headlines. She's making money. She's doing her job, which is to feed her demographic. She has mostly women. Yes, your music is
And they're
misogynistic.
mostly white women, sis.
Yeah, let's call a spade a spade. So I definitely think it's okay to be honest about that, and it's okay to be bothered about that because moments like that mean something to a person because you grew up watching that. So
Yes.
I think it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he did show a real human moment, he does dish it, so now he had to take it, so to speak. So now this is our time. We are the great promoters. I would like to, before we end, go to each of you and please let us know what artists you have coming out, what promotion you have going on that our audience needs to look out for. Mike, we'll start with you. What's going on at Cinematic?
A lot's going on at cinematic. Too much is going on at cinematic.
You
Yo,
guys
the
said
pace
that
of
already.
Cinematic is crazy.
Cinematic has a lot going on. There's a lot of really great stuff coming out soon. Um, there's a new Young and Age project coming out. There's a new Kel project coming out in middle of June. Shipes has done an amazing job finding a bunch of acts early. I don't know what I can and I can't say, so I don't want to spoil anything, but I'll just say just to kind of keep tabs on things coming out, and I think early to mid June is going to be a lot of fun. So
Nice.
it's a busy time.
Busy time. Shirley, what should we look for you and what do you got coming out?
Ooh. I mean, just stay tapped in with me on socials because that's where I post all my interviews. I do want to rep an artist. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but his name is Blast. He's super fire. BLXST. I really want to rep him. He's just super fire. But yeah, all my interviews, my socials are at SureJew. I post on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. So
Miss Avery,
Yes, yes.
what do you have
Hey,
coming out?
oh man, I have a lot coming up. But what I would say is this: one, as you guys probably heard, I have Ron Suno. Outside of him, I have Young Dirty Bastard. So we do have our Young Dirty Brew. That was a beer that was dedicated to his father, Old Dirty Bastard. So we got the beer. I have Young Dirty Bastard. I have Taniqua Jones. We're getting ready for growing up hip hop. We're not filming because of COVID, of course, but we're still like gearing up, getting ready for that. What else I have going on? I got JB Made It, the UK producer for Demons for Drake and Fabio. So I had JB Made It.
okay.
Month we gotta talk.
I
Um,
love that song.
She's
there she
amazing.
goes doing her media stuff.
And I also have
So
Poppy Yer.
viral.
I also have Poppy Yer. He's a producer with Tory Lanez. He produced Jerry Springer and Broken a Minute.
Nice.
And of course, I have PTG 365. It is a auto sales car dealership that they specialize in selling cars. The Gucci Man, Rich the Kid, etc. They got their own Snapchat TV show, Go Driven. So I have a few different type of clients. I'm excited. 2020.
Nice. Right, you keeping it open. Nice.
I'm busy. I'm blessed and busy.
Amen. Gabrielle, what should we look out for Meth Eater?
Okay, so I'm like I said, we're beauty. So we actually collaborated with a brand, and we're gonna come out with like a palette. So this is how the mold looks.
Oh,
So we're
cool.
gonna
I need one of those.
Yes, you will get one. I'll send you a PR package. Also, too, we're starting an agency called Meth Agency. It's
Nice.
weird because we spoke a lot about hip hop, but you know, there's beauty and fashion and other things too
Yeah,
out there.
all part of
And
entertainment.
that's all part of it, a part of breaking an artist. And we are going to help artists break as well as businesses, since entrepreneurship is truly my true passion, because wealth is generational and we need to build generational wealth. Our first artist we signed is Sin Santana. I don't know if you guys know her from Love and Hip Hop. She's also Joe Budden's ex-fiance.
Yes.
She
And
said Tim Santana, which is Mont's artist. I was like, oh shit.
Oh, Sen. She said Sen.
I know. I was like, wait.
say Danny, I didn't know.
Okay,
That's
sorry.
what I thought.
No.
I was like, what?
Sin Santana, and then a few other people. Oh, we have a boxing too. If you guys like boxing, please let me know. I'll get everybody tickets when COVID is not.
Oh, yeah, we should all go to a boxing match together. Let's have a freaking
Let's do it.
boxing weekend. Let's do it.
From
Don't
Brooklyn.
say you're going to do it and don't do it because we're going to come after
No,
you.
we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. It's right in Queens.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
We're gonna do it.
Columbia Records, Mom, what's on the schedule? What's coming up?
Sem Santana, Fabio Foreign, Lil TJ about to drop,
Oh my
Polo
god.
G. Who else? I don't know. We got a bunch of stuff.
Lil
But
Nas X.
Lil Nas X. Shout out to Abby and Trophy over at Cinematic. They the homies.
And Trophy was on the first panel last week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my dog. But
Honestly, Columbia is killing it. Y'all got
They are
all
killing it right
fucking
now.
night.
They are. They are killing
Y'all
it.
are
oh man,
Y'all coming up there with Atlantic because Atlantic was taking the trophy home, but y'all coming there.
yeah.
Y'all
And
coming
look, shout out to Dallas Martin because like that's my mentor and he really showed me how to do it. I learned a lot from Dallas, so now I'm about to apply that pressure with Columbia.
Yeah, that's right.
As you should.
Dizzy D, what we got coming up?
Shit, we got everything. We got DJ Snake new album coming. We got Casanova coming, Angelica coming. You know, a lot of the Latin artists are soon coming. You know, I'm working on a lot right now. My team is doing a lot. You know, we just did the Beyonce remix with that, and a lot of other stuff. You know, we just did the Thug and Chris Brown record album. We got a lot of stuff coming. Just stay tuned.
Wait, where you at, Dizzy?
I'm at Rock Nation.
Rock
Oh,
Nation.
right, okay.
Wait,
Don't forget Bobby Fiscale.
did you
Oh
talk?
yeah, they're definitely Bobby Fishkill. You know, so we got Bobby Fishkill coming too.
Did you talk about the Savage remix and how that came together? That was really.
I have I have nothing to do with it. Just the team worked on it. That's all. It's like
I just interviewed The Dream and I asked him what he did on it and he wouldn't tell me. So
Really?
yeah.
yeah, they're
Everything top
not
secret.
wanna
You know,
tell you?
everything's top secret.
what'd you say?
Why didn't he
I said
not want to
everything
tell
top
us?
secret.
It's an industry secret or something?
To be completely honest, I think Rock Nation is just super confident. Well, I think Beyonce is super confidential.
Yes,
Anything
yes,
from
that camp is very
Yeah.
confidential. Yeah, that's for true.
I was trying to be like, did you give her the OnlyFans line? And he
Yes.
just swerved my question.
So again, I want to thank you for taking the time, being down to be a part of this. It's always a pleasure, and I hope that someone out in the audience really learned something and gained. Part 3 panel is next week. It's right before my last, and it's going to be my iconic additions. We have Static Selector, Pete Rock on the panel, Smoke Dizza, and more. So thank you, my panel. I'm gonna put everybody together. Gabrielle, my palette, and our tickets.
Yes, I got you. Everyone who wants it, makeup for everybody.
Mike, love you. Thank
I
you.
knew that.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for not leaving. Dizzy, God bless. Mont, you the man. And Miss Avery. You in the jungle, girl. Love you all.
I love you guys.
All right,
Thank
Good
man.
you
night
so
and God
much.
bless.
Yeah.
Peace.